Is Scott Twine MK Dons. This man is a human highlight reel. Some of the goals he scored this season are absolutely remarkable.
They even had Cherno Samba on the books in the 06-07 season, right?
What a boy.
Cherno Samba, the god. And it's a brilliant away day as well. They're a fantastically well-run club, and what's better, we can relive that Green Army insurance ad that made the rounds about 10 years ago.
My God, that is a flashback in itself. I wasn't expecting Wigan to be back in the fight for promotion to the Championship as soon as they are, but here they are now, and it looks like they're on the road back.
I think they could be a very dangerous side should they get promoted this season. I think that's a bit of a formality at this point because they look unstoppable in the Port Wall.
The likes of Morgan Schneiderlin, Jonathan Forte, Ricky Lambert, Jose Fonte, Fraser Richardson, Lee Barnard, Jason Punch and Danny Butterfield, Dean Hammond, Radhi Jaidi, even bloody Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. I completely forgot he was there. It's a remarkable team, that is. I haven't even mentioned Adam Lallana. How can I forget Adam Lallana? What a team that is, Justin. For that to be a League One side is remarkable. Hello and welcome back to another special episode of the Stopwatch. For one episode only, ladies and gentlemen, this week we're going to be the third tier podcast. We're going to talk about League One, 5 topics, a 2-minute timer and 2 hosts. Me and Justin, Championship experts usually, but for 1 week only, we're going to be having a look at League One. What is the best to do in League One right now? We like to keep an eye on what's going on in the tier below, don't we, Justin? We need to know which set of fans we need to pander to next season. So we're Ryan and Justin from the Second Tier Podcast. Let's get right into it. Who do you think is the biggest prospect in League One right now, Justin Peach?
I really like the look of Ross Sykes at Accrington Stanley. He's a big defender. He's played right back in the past, but he's flourishing at centre half this season. And he's barely put a foot wrong in a team that is competing sort of lower mid-table. He's strong in the air. He reads the game really well. And you only have to look at his stats to see that he's a very accomplished defender, massive threat. And I'm surprised that no other team or team in the Championship hasn't looked at him yet. But if they haven't now, they certainly will do in the summer.
I don't know much about Mr. Sykes, but I love the old-fashioned nature of someone going from defence to attack. It's very 90s football, Justin. What are his best attributes?
Well, he reads the game really well. I think for a young player, he's just 22 years old. He reads the game really well. He's good in a tackle. If you can work on things to refine him, it's his discipline. Probably needs a bit of work, but at the same time, you don't want to take that away from him either. But he's a very good defender. Just a very, very good defender. Head it, kick it. He can be worked on, but he's got a lot of potential.
My biggest prospect in League One right now, and this will be no shock to anyone who keeps even a small eye on League One, is Scott Twine, MK Dons. This man is a human highlight reel. Some of the goals he scored this season are absolutely remarkable. Quite frankly, when he went to MK Dons in the summer, I was surprised there weren't more Championship clubs having a look at him, because he's only 20. Well, he's 22 now, but he was 21 at the time, and was killing it in League Two, and now he's made it up to League One and is killing it again. He's nearly got double figures for goals and assists this season. There are Championship clubs looking at him in January, and it wouldn't surprise me if there are Championship clubs looking again at him in the summer, even if MK Dons do get promoted this season. Justin, he's someone I'm really excited to see in the Championship at some point.
Well, you're quite right. He's a human highlight reel, and as you say, some of the goals he's scored, he's creative. He's played as a number 9. He's played as a false 9. He's played out wide. That final third, he can cover any area and be incredible at it. He's one that I'm really looking forward to seeing at some point in the Championship, because it's going to be sooner rather than later.
Absolutely. Justin, what's next question?
Which side would you like to see most in the Championship next season?
I would like to see Ipswich Town back in the Championship. That's mainly because I've got my own affinity to Ipswich. I used to watch him for the 2017-18 season, I think it was. I watched them a lot that season. Or was it maybe the season before? I can't remember. It was when Mick McCarthy was in charge, but ultimately things weren't going very well for Ipswich at the time. Marcus Evans was not putting any money into the club, and it's a really passionate fan base. Ipswich is the heart of Ipswich, the city, the town, sorry. It's a great football club, loads of history, and they haven't had much to shout about now for a number of seasons. So I'd like to see them back in the Championship and having a good go now. It seems like they've got the people behind the scenes who know what they're doing, and I think ultimately they will be in the Championship again and hopefully competitive once again. Would you like to see Ipswich back in the Championship, Justin?
I would, but I'd like to see Plymouth Argyle in the Championship more. And for me, they're a nostalgia trip. I grew up watching the Championship in the mid 2000s, and to see Plymouth, and that's when Plymouth were at their peak, and they were a decent Championship side at that point. Players like Paul Watton, Akash Bisaki, David Norris, they even had Cherno Samba on the books in the 06-07 season, right?
What a boy.
Cherno Samba, the god. Um, and it's a brilliant away day as well. They're a fantastically well run club in a similar vein to Luton, and they've got a very young and exciting squad. And what's better, we can relive that Green Army insurance ad that made the rounds about 10 years ago.
My God, that is a flashback in itself. I'd like to see Plymouth in the Championship again, just for the support, because wherever they go, they always support very well, don't they? They always bring numbers, no matter how early they have to get up on a Saturday morning. So I'd love to see Plymouth back in the Championship once again. That'd be fantastic. Justin, who do you think is the best player in League One right now?
He's already come up, but I've gone with Scott Twine. And look, you said he's a human highlights reel. He is a human highlights reel. He's got 13 goals and 9 assists for MK Dons this season. Tactically, he fits brilliantly in that system. And he's just 22, which is the best aspect of it. He's got so much time to develop into a better player, which is saying something. And he scored one of the best last-minute winners I've seen against Burton a few weeks ago. It was incredible. Left foot, brilliant. And he's just so good. We've got not much else we could say about him. He's a fantastic player and one that needs to be playing at a higher level.
Yeah, I don't think we need to talk about him too much more, do we? Otherwise, this is going to become the Scott Twine stopwatch. For me, I'm not sure if he's the best player in League One, because obviously I don't watch it as much, but someone who really impressed me in the Championship last season was Daniel Barlaser at Rotherham. Someone I was surprised to see drop down to League One again, because I thought he'd be more than capable of playing in the Championship again, but Rotherham have got him now and reaping the full rewards, aren't they? He's a marvellous passer of the ball, but he's also good at dribbling, taking on players. He's good at reading the game. You can play him in, as a number 10. You can play him a bit deeper as kind of the sprayer, the Pirlo role, if you like. But he's a marvellous player and someone I expect to see in the Championship again next season. At the moment, it looks very likely that he'll be back with Rotherham. But Barlaser, were you a fan last season, Justin?
I was, and again, I was surprised that no one came in for him. You look at Will Volks, and he got a move to Cardiff after a very good season at Rotherham. So yeah, surprised that Barlaser wasn't picked up. He's a dead ball specialist as well. His delivery is fantastic, and he's got a weapon of a right foot in a very good way. So yeah, he's a player I'm looking forward to seeing step up again, because he's at a good age where he's going to be hitting his peak soon.
Absolutely. Justin, what's next topic?
And on a similar lines, who takes the crown for the best manager?
Someone I've been really impressed with this season is Liam Richardson at Wigan, because I wasn't expecting Wigan to be back in the fight for promotion to the Championship as soon as they are, but here they are now, and it looks like they're on the road back to the Championship, which is remarkable, quite frankly. They didn't deserve to get relegated when they did. Obviously, we all know how that ended with the points deduction and the owners who are certainly questionable, to say the very least. But now Wigan have got a chance to get back to the Championship in a better vein of form and have another good crack at doing what they should have done when they were last in the Championship. Justin, you were a big fan of Wigan, weren't you, last time they were in the second tier?
Yeah, I love them under Paul Cook, and Liam Richardson is a Paul Cook disciple, shall we say? He was assistant to Paul Cook for a long time, and he's got them playing really good football. And we've got to bear in mind that they haven't spent any money on fees. I know they spent a lot on wages on bringing those players in at the start of the season, but they needed to, and they're a very good competitive team. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they can do for the rest of the season, whether or not they can bridge that gap back into the Championship.
Yeah, it's even more impressive when you consider they barely had a team at the start of last season. Now here they are looking likely to be back in the Championship. It's really remarkable. Who's your best manager in the League One, Justin?
I've gone with Paul Warne. It seems an obvious one, but actually what Rotherham are doing this season is absolutely incredible. They're a team who have always been together and unified. They have a good budget at League One level, but it's not one of the best by any means. There are teams ahead of them budget wise, and they went unbeaten. They went on a 21 game unbeaten run this season. They've conceded just 18 goals as well. So not only are they very good going forwards, which is very obvious, but defensively they're just ruthlessly efficient. And I think they could be a very dangerous side should they get promoted this season. I think that's a bit of a formality at this point because they look unstoppable under Paul Warne.
they've been blasting away anyone who stands in the way in League One, haven't they? And they've got this remarkable stat, haven't they, where I think they've either been in the top 4 or bottom 4 of League One in the Championship for the past 8 seasons now, is it? I may be paraphrasing there, but it's certainly along those lines. So hopefully they'll be able to go one better next season in the Championship, because it looks like that's where they're going to be now, and actually stay up and have a good crack at being competitive. But we have said that in the past, haven't we? Finally, Justin, it's the second tier retro, or the third tier retro for this week. Who is the best League One side to ever be promoted to the Championship?
Yeah, I had a lot of fun reminiscing about this, but I've gone with Norwich City under Paul Lambert. It was 09-10 season they came back up from League One, and if you remember, they lost 7-1 on the opening day that season to Paul Lambert's Colchester United, and then Paul Lambert got the job at Norwich quite soon after. I wonder why. But that team was full of cult heroes: Wes Hoolahan, Grant Holt, Russell Martin, and for them to then make the step up into the Championship the next season and then go up automatically was absolutely fantastic. And they were a very fun side. They scored 83, conceded 58. They lost just 3 games between December and the end of the season. And that promotion party when Simeon Jackson hit the winner against Derby, who can remember that fan flying down the stairs and into the pitch? It was just incredible. They were a fun side to watch, and one of the best, one of the ones that stick out to me.
The one who stand out for me instantly is that Southampton side who got promoted in the 2010-11 season, then finished second in the Championship the season after. And you talk about cult heroes, Justin Peach. My God, I was surprised when I went through the players in this team, because it's absolutely remarkable. You've got the likes of Morgan Schneiderlin, Jonathan Forte, Ricky Lambert, Jose Fonte, Fraser Richardson, Lee Barnard, Jason Punch, and Danny Butterfield, Dean Hammond, Radhi Jaidi, even bloody Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. I completely forgot he was there. It's a remarkable team, that is. I haven't even mentioned Adam Lallana. How can I forget Adam Lallana? What a team that is, Justin. For that to be a League One side is remarkable, when you especially consider what half the players I mentioned there were finishing in the top half of the Premier League not long after that. So for that team to have been assembled at that time is unbelievable. It really is something to look back at and behold. And I think it's one of them where you look back on in 10 years' time and go, wow, how on earth do they have a team like that in League One? But Southampton, without a doubt, the best League One side ever be promoted to the Championship for me. I don't think there's any two ways about it for me. And then we go episode 22 of the Stopwatch. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Drop us a like if you enjoyed, and please subscribe for more content like this. We've been the second tier podcast, not the third tier podcast. We usually focus on the Championship, but you can find us at Second Tier Pod on Twitter. I'm Ryan Dilks1. That's Justin Peach 27, and thank you for watching.